The long-awaited third film in the 28 Days franchise hit theaters this weekend. I went to see it on opening night. It's been a busy weekend for me. I started a new job. I just didn't really have that much time to film the video, so right now I have to film it a couple days late. Also, let me sit back on the film and think about the movie for a couple of days for my opinions, but today I'm going to give you my review of 28 Years Later. Before I get started, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your opinions on 28 Years Later. And stay tuned, because in these next coming days, we're going to have a 28 Years Later franchise ranking. I don't know when I'm going to get to see Elio. I was thinking of going today, but I'm not so sure if I'm going to go, but I'm going to go see it later this week. And then later this week, I'm going to have a live stream of putting all the tier lists of the Pixar movies. So, tons of videos coming your way this week. But with that said, let's dive right into my review of 28 Years Later. I thought it was a great horror movie. I was really nervous. I was really looking forward to this movie based off that trailer. But I was really also nervous for this movie because, number one, I do like 28 Days Later, but the franchise itself wasn't necessarily, like, the best zombie franchise. There's a couple problems, and I was hoping they didn't carry those problems over to this movie. And then also, like, the first initial reaction said it was awesome. The movie has, like, a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. But every reaction I saw was either really mixed, very negative, saying that the movie's not what you expect. So I just didn't really know what to expect going into watching this movie. I was insanely nervous. And I thought it was a really great horror movie. But yes, you have to go into this movie knowing if you liked that first trailer, this is not that movie. This is not the gritty, deep horror movie that trailer kind of advertised itself to be. This is such a different movie from that. And for some reason, it's kind of, like, setting some people off. For me, not really. I think all three acts of this movie are so tonally different from one another, where the first act is literally the kid and his dad going out, fighting zombies in the wild, having the zombie adventure. The second part is kind of a character study of the kid and his mom. And then the third part's just kind of this emotional train wreck, so tonally different to where I could see where a lot of people are watching this movie and they could say, oh, it feels so tonally choppy, the movie was so choppy, I couldn't enjoy this movie. That's not me. I didn't leave this movie feeling like, okay, yeah, the tonally difference didn't work for me. I thought it kind of enhanced the movie, where there's always something interesting. There's never something that'll get you bored, because whether it's you love zombie movies, you love apocalypse movies, you get a lot of that in that first act. You even get a lot of that in the second and third act. But the second act kind of adds a character study. As soon as a certain thing happens, you're kind of studying these characters. And then the third act, not to spoil anything that happens, it gets really emotional. Now, not enough to make me cry. It's going to make some people cry, but not me. But I feel like the three acts so tonally different from each other, and that enhances the movie. Along the same lines, the cast here, phenomenal, dude. Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's a guy that I'm just kind of learning gets all this hate. It's ridiculous. I think he's awesome in everything he's in. Kraven the Hunter, even though that's not that great of a movie, still really liked him in that. Kick-Ass, really good in that movie. And then he's so different in this movie as well. I mean, you get him in Nosferatu, so different from this movie. I feel like he's an actor with all this range that gets all this hate, so I really don't get that. Along the same lines, Jodie Comer is in this movie. She's really good. Ralph Fiennes in the movie. He's definitely one of the standout characters in here as soon as he comes on. His character is not what you expect, but I think it works for the better. But the main killer here is Alfie Williams as the main kid. I think he is incredible in this movie. Child actors can literally either be the worst actors you've ever seen or some of the best, and Alfie Williams is one of the best. He was really good in this movie. Has to carry all this emotional weight in the film. And it's recently come out that, obviously in the movie, there's a lot of zombie dick in it. Yeah, that's just how it goes. But it's recently come out that they had to use a lot of prosthetics and whatever, because obviously child labor laws, and because Alfie Williams is a kid, you don't want a kid being on set with all that meat hanging out, so there's that. But still, Alfie Williams, incredible. Speaking of the infected meat and his ginormous weapon, I think the infected are really cool in this movie. I think they're by far the best infected in this entire franchise. Kind of establish a lore, and that's really cool about this movie too, is because the movie has a lot of world building it's got to do. where we're literally 28 years later from 28 weeks later. 28 weeks later was kind of teaching us all this technology and having all this certain things to enhance that world. This is 28 years later. We're going back to primitive times. We got bows and arrows. We've never seen a cell phone before. We're going back to that time, so we got to set up this world, and it's really unique. It kind of sets up the trilogy along the ways, too, where you see that the people are still probably just as bad. Stuff in the village. You still don't quite get answers for some questions you have. And just sets up this cool world that I want to see more of with the infected. Like I said, they're really cool. We got these real fat blob infected that I think are just kind of weird, but they're here and they're pretty cool. And then you get the alpha infected in his ginormous log, who is just really cool. Certain kills in this movie are phenomenal. Every time the zombies get killed, it has just kind of like this stop, and then it's hard to explain, but they're cool kills. And the violence, gore, zombie action here is all really, really great. So great world building, great cast, great tone, or different tone that is interesting in the movie. And I feel like the movie is paced particularly well as well. And now we got to talk about that ending scene. I didn't have any problems with it. Like, I'm going to try not to spoil it here. If you kind of want to avoid anything, just skip a couple minutes into the future. I didn't really have any problems with this ending. I thought it was a good ending. It just, again, so totally different from everything else we've seen. It kind of turns into a goofy cartoon there for a minute. But I found it worked because it kind of sets up things that we've also learned earlier in the movie. It kind of just goes through that. We've seen these little hints. We want answers, and we kind of get answers, but it also just leads us on a little more to get to the rest of the trilogy. And the movie kind of left off where I said, 28 years later, the Bone Temple, I want you right now, right here, and right now. And it didn't shy me away. Things come out that might be the whole movie of 28 weeks later. I'm here for it. I don't have any problems with it. Now, I get it. People having problems with it because it's him mocking this TV guy that they have in Britain who apparently was a child molester or something like that. I didn't dive too much into the research, so if I got that wrong and you're offended by that, I'm sorry. I didn't dive into the research of this, but it's just what I've seen from people online. I don't really care. Like, I get that it's bad that they're mocking a child molester, but at the same time, it's a movie. You don't know if that's actually what they're trying to do, or if it's just something somebody made up and people are running with it. I don't know, because I'm not familiar with that, but it didn't really diminish my love of that ending. I thought it was awesome and made me excited for the next film. I got a few tiny little issues. Like I said, the movie's so tonally different, so the script has its issues here and there. There were answers that weren't answered. I'm assuming that we're going to get those answered later in the trilogy, but we don't have those answers yet, which in turn makes this probably Alex Garland's weakest script. I love Alex Garland. I'm a huge Alex Garland fan. The best thing he does is his script writing skills. But this probably his weakest one. Again, the movie's going to turn some people off with how tonally different it is from scene to scene, how different it is from the trailer. Didn't turn me off, but it is kind of odd, the fact that how this movie was marketed is really not what you get in this film whatsoever, so just kind of little nitpicks that people are individually going to have problems with. They didn't affect me that much. I didn't dislike it that much, but it's kind of weird that that's the way they marketed the movie. But 28 years later, I had a really good time with. I thought it was a great zombie movie. Easily the best of this franchise that I will rank in the coming days. Before I give you my final score, please make sure to subscribe, and like button, hit the bell, and comment down below what is your opinions on 28 years later. And with that said, 28 years later has some great world building, some great performances and characters, and just a mystery and a world that I want to dive more into with the rest of this trilogy. Yes, it is so totally different. For me, I think that kind of enhances the movie, but for other people, it's going to be a turnoff. And the movie is not marketed well at all. The movie that you're going to see is not the movie that was marketed. It's pretty weird, but I still really liked it. Overall, for me, this is a movie that was really weird that I really did like, but it's definitely going to turn some people off. But for me, personally, 28 years later is going to get an A-. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Stay tuned for the 28 Days Later franchise ranked. And with that said, subscribe.